Welcome to the Solomon Show. Thank you so much for watching.
Alright, worst family secret I accidentally found out.
Okay.
My paternal grandparents' first wife, I won't repeat what they referred to as, but I think she probably had some mental illness and some other issues, and so they ended up getting divorced. He then met his second wife, my grandma, in a tuberculosis ward, and they
Whoa.
both are that they were both admitted to. My grandpa had 3 children by his first wife, and my grandma already had 1 child by her first husband, who she divorced because he was an alcoholic. So, after they met and fell in love, Grandma said to Grandpa, "I love you, I want to marry you, but I don't want to raise 4 children." My grandpa surrendered his 3 children to an orphanage.
Oh my
I
gosh.
have seen photos of Grandpa with his new family visiting his children at the orphanage. I cannot even imagine what that feels like to those kids, to be completely abandoned by both parents and tend to have their dad visit once in a while. WTF. All 3 of the children died of cancer ages ago. Anecdotal or not, but I think there's a reason for that. Edit. And this is just my dad's side. My mom's side is horrific too. Wait, there's more? Or is that it? I think that's it.
That's it.
Oh, is it more? Is this
I
all
think that's
together?
it. Nope, that's it.
No, I think it is together, no?
No.
No.
Nope, that's it. So, thoughts on it? I don't really know what to say except watch that Guillermo del Toro movie, The Orphanage, and maybe you'll want to donate more to orphanages. Not going to give any spoilers, but it's one of my favorite movies ever, The Orphanage. Not The Orphan, The Orphanage. But yeah, that's really sad. It's really, really sad. I hope those kids were treated well at the orphanage at least to have kind of a okay life, but yikes.
As a mother, I wouldn't think or imagine like abandoning
Your
children at
children,
all.
yeah.
So that is just so sad.
I really respect people that try to adopt kids. I think they're like angels in disguise, honestly. Like, I've met a few kids that were adopted and they were really nice people, and I don't know why anybody would want to get rid of somebody. It's sad. And I really respect people that do adopt. Anything to add? All right, that's it for this one. It's time for quotes for the holiday. Time for the next story. There we go.
Alright, so our next worst family secret I accidentally found out. Great grandparents, grandmothers in laws kidnapped my twin uncles when they were 6 months old under the guise of helping my grandmother when she and my aunts, who were still toddlers, had the flu. Grandmother never saw her sons until they were almost adults, and my mother, who was years after the kidnapping, was in her early teens. Wasn't really an accident finding out. My mom was upfront about it when I asked her if she'd be okay with me doing an ancestry DNA test. She's had other very traumatic events happen, and I didn't want to proceed unless she was okay with it, in case something from those events popped up.
You know, I'm assuming there was intervention because the girl was only a very young teen at most when she had the kids. So maybe they were trying to rescue the kids from an unsafe situation. That's all I can think of. But in any case, when there's the family reunion or when there's the initial meetup and stuff, I would not want to be in the same room. That's all I'm saying.
These are like really sad. Like I have like no input. Like I'm like, okay.
Well, I'd be shocked too. Like, we're secret found out
Yeah,
at
we're secret
Christmas.
found out. I was like, I'm so uncomfortable right now.
But that's good because it means we have conscience. Like, we wouldn't do stuff
Well,
like this.
I wonder how old the story is because if it's the great grandparents, it was more acceptable in that era to do things like this because you wanted your name to be clean, so you didn't want to be associated with someone who was pregnant at 14 or
Because she was still a teenager years after they got kidnapped. So, yeah, she was probably like 12, 13. Yeah, so I
it was more
understand.
normal
I
back
wouldn't want to be
then.
raised by a 12-year-old. So, yeah, and I wonder too, it's probably not in the US, this kind of
Oh, I didn't. Oh
scenario.
no.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, it doesn't
assuming it's
say.
not in the US. It doesn't say, but yikes. Yeah, good
Go to
luck to them.
therapy.
Huh?
Go to
Therapy.
therapy.
Yes, therapy. Now back to business. All right, what's our next story?
All right. Again, another worst family secret I accidentally found out. My mom was kidnapped by my grandfather at 3 months. They say when my grandmother went to work, he took my mother and disappeared with his mistress, who became his new wife.
Oh my gosh.
My mom was raised as their slave for 12 years. At 12, she asked a neighbor, might they know my grandmother's name and where she lives. They told her, and my mom escaped in the night and traveled for 2 days to get to my grandmother's house. She said she arrived and no one was there and asked a neighbor of my grandmother's about her whereabouts. The neighbor said my grandmother went on a trip on the weekend and let my mom sleep at her house for 2 days, waiting for my grandmother to return. My mother slept at a stranger's house for 2 nights at 12 years old. When my grandmother returned and the neighbors brought my mom to her, my grandmother said she instantly knew my mom was her daughter. She looks like my older sister. My mom even said my grandmother started crying immediately when she saw her because she couldn't believe how badly abused she looked. My mom still has scars to this day on her body from the beating she endured and burn marks from my grandfather and his new wife. 1960s and 1970s in Jamaica, WI.
So, is that Wisconsin? Jamaica, Wisconsin? Is there such a thing? Or is that part
Should
of
we search it?
Jamaica? Or
Where
they
is
can put in the
that?
comments. Please
Where is
enlighten
it?
us.
Please
Yes,
enlighten
thank
us
you.
where this is.
That's really crazy story. I mean, 1960s, 1970s.
70s.
Yeah, it makes me
Yeah,
appreciate.
kidnapping, slavery, it's
Yeah, not good.
abuse, so still very sad. But I'm
Sucks to
glad
find that
that she
out.
was such a fighter to get out of the
Yeah,
situation
for
at
sure.
12 years old.
Yeah.
She traveled like by herself for like 2 days, slept in the neighbor's house for 2 nights
Y-
until she was reunited.
You know, my favorite aunt, she loves to read biographies on people, and I kind of overheard her telling my mom she read the biography for Evita, and she was saying, "Can you imagine running away from home at 15? Like not knowing anybody, escaping your town and stuff like that." I'm like, that's actually really impressive. I wouldn't be
Yeah,
brave
like at
enough.
12, right? Like,
Yeah,
This is in Jamaica.
this is in
WI
where
Jamaica,
is
means
it?
West
Did you
Indies.
check it?
West
Oh,
Indies,
Okay,
Jamaica.
West Indies.
Where's West Indies?
The Caribbean.
The Caribbean. Okay, the
Okay.
Caribbean. Well, I'm hoping that the
Call the
daughter
police.
now is more
Report it.
appreciative of her mom, because that's quite a story. So hopefully you treat your mom well and you guys are close. Oh, let me tell you, we were watching that new show from Judge Judy. What is it called? Her newest.
Tribunal Justice.
What is it? Champion.
Tribunal
No, no,
Justice.
no, 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 not that one. The most recent one, where like you decide is it just or not, and it's real cases from her life that she was a part of. They're very controversial, and one of them was about diplomats in your country. Have you guys heard about that? So you get people from other countries, they're diplomats, and because they have diplomatic status, they are immune. So this man, he was from, I want to say somewhere in Africa, and he was severely abusing his kids. And the school teacher found out because she's like, "Are you okay? Like, does your back hurt?" She lifted his shirt, and he had all these cuts and this and that, bruises and burn marks. So they took him to the nurse, and the nurse was like, "Oh my gosh, she's doing this to you, blah, blah, blah." They found out it was the dad, but the dad's like, "No, this is how we do it in my country. So by law, you can't say anything, you can't do anything." And so the court, I guess the school took him to court saying, "We need to take away your kid, put him in foster care in a loving home to protect him." But he said, "Yeah, but international law says that I can do what I want to. I'm immune." So that's why I went to court. And in the end, Judge Judy ruled that no, it's in the best interest of the kid. I know it's controversial, but to protect his kid, because this isn't the first time this has happened,
Yeah.
to save him, I rule in favor that they should put him in the orphanage. And so I went to Supreme Court, and unfortunately, Supreme Court didn't find the same thing. They said because of the law, the father can do what he needs to do to discipline his kid because that's the culture. In the end, though, they decided, okay, fine, to be fair, we'll send him back, the child back to the country of origin and let them decide how they want to do it. But it's really sad. Very interesting cases.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Anything else, guys?
That's all.
That's it for this one. We've got a bonus quote from. Time for another story.
Okay, our next story of worst family secrets I accidentally found out. My cousin didn't die of SIDS.
What's SIDS again? Comment. I'm like having a
It's
brain
like
fart.
it's like sudden infant death syndrome.
Yes,
That's what
yes,
it was.
yes.
That was that. But a freak accident involving a travel cot while he was being babysat by another family member. My
Oh, wow.
aunt and uncle had to go to court so the death could be ruled as an accident. I cannot imagine how painful that whole process would have been. This happened when I was 5 to 6 years old, and I only found out last year, over 20 years later, because I googled my grandmother's name after she died to find her online obituary. And her name was mentioned in an article about my cousin's death because it happened in our house.
Oh, wow.
Crazy to see court documents and articles involving your family members that had no idea about it. I never thought to question SIDS, No one ever corrected me when I was old enough to know, so I always felt shitty that while my grandparents were alive, I didn't know what they went through losing a grandchild and it happening in their own home.
Wow.
I moved into that home about 5 years later. I'm not entirely sure who was responsible for the kid that night, so it's either my nan or one of my aunts. Really sad stuff.
I mean, for me, if I were in that situation, I would just let it be. And I mean, maybe I'll talk to my mom about it, but I'll just leave it at that because it's their guilt or not guilt, it's their karma, it's their story. I just don't want to be dragged into it. And if I have a relationship with my grandparents or whatever, and I'm close, I would just leave it at that. I don't know. I don't know. That's a lot.
That's a lot to. It's sad. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, yeah, that's on them type thing. I guess if I really wanted to know, I could just print out the article and leave it on the table and see what they say and just not mention I put it there.
I feel like they're probably like, throw it. I don't know. I don't know if they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, just let it be. But yeah, that is a surprise.
Yeah, I don't think that's none of their business.
It's another lifetime thing because you were so young when it happened, anyways. So just let it be. Stuff happens, and hopefully it was an accident type thing. So I don't know. Just let it be. For another story. All right.
Right. Next worst family secret I accidentally found out. Never knew why my parents got divorced, just remember them fighting a lot. I was 7. When I was 23, my dad finally opened up and told me it was because my mom had a long standing affair with my stepdad, and when my dad found out and left, she ended up staying with my stepdad. Pieces really started coming together when I told this. Most specifically, I remember my stepdad being introduced as a friend. But we never got any context as to how they met, and he was never around when my dad was. My mom would pack us kids up, me, bro, and sis, and we'd go and stay at his apartment when my dad was away. Weird to connect those dots as an adult and realize these weekends was their time to be together. After my dad finally left, my stepdad moved in immediately but was never introduced as a boyfriend. My mom said he was our new school tutor. I remember getting really defensive and upset when a friend's mom referred to him as my mom's boyfriend. LOL.
Mm,
There were other things that he's been in the picture ever since, and it's all all water under the bridge. I definitely think my mom's actions were selfish and irresponsible,
yep.
particularly in the aftermath of the divorce and not being forthright about who my stepdad was. I hold no resentment, but now that I have a child of my own, I can't ever imagine putting them through all that.
Yep. Yep. I mean, I'm glad that it has a good ending. I've worked with a family where the wife acquired a disease at an early age and it ended up taking her life because it's one of those diseases that's super rare. They don't know how to treat it. So she died, and then she had two teenage kids, and the dad, like immediately after she died, which means he was fooling around on the wife, married somebody, and then told the kids, "This is my new wife." The daughter was able to recover from it okay, but the son became so crazy, depressed, like almost gravely disabled, depressed. Like all he would do is just sit at the TV, didn't want to do anything, didn't want to shower, didn't want to eat, didn't want, and like just completely deteriorated. It was so sad. And the sister, it took years and years of her trying to get him help, this and that. And then finally, she introduced him to therapy, but she was like, I need to move on with my life, so she moved out. And finally, the therapy helped save the brother. But it's just, it can really hurt your kids. You shouldn't lie to them. Just be upfront with them. They can figure, they'll put two and two
Yeah,
together.
exactly.
Yeah. Anything else?
Well, on the same note, I don't think it's appropriate to be upfront when it's this situation where she's cheating. Like, you shouldn't give your children that kind of example either. I do understand that it's good to be forthcoming and truthful, but at the same time, this situation is not optimal.
I find crazy is that she brought the three little kids and say, we're gonna go into my friend's place for the weekend without your dad knowing. It's sort of weird. And
Well,
then like maybe having the kids lie about it. Like, hey, don't tell your dad that we're gonna be here for
yeah,
the
that too.
weekend.
Yeah. But, going off what Gabriel said, in an ideal world, I agree with that you shouldn't put kids in adult situations or give them adult information. But unfortunately, in the world that we live in, kids have to grow up really quick because of the
Mm-hmm.
internet.
Yeah, like all that
And
information.
as a parent, I would rather be the ones to teach my kids than the outside world to teach my kids. You know what I mean? At least if you instill the values, whatever the situation with the kids, it can give them the heads up. So when the world tries to, because not everybody's your friend in the world,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody tries to give them false information, misinformation, da da da, at least they know from me, somebody they can trust, that this is a truth, and they would know that that is a lie. Versus the kid goes in blindly in the situation, and somebody tells them something like a complete made up thing, like you don't know, and then the kid may or may not tell you, depending on how close you guys are, and they're gonna walk around with this idea in their head that they think is the truth when it's really not. That's why I think it's important to give your kids a heads up. I don't know, that's just me.
Bottom line, I think the good thing about the situation is just do better. Learn
Yeah.
from your parents' mistakes
Yeah,
Yeah,
and just be
exactly.
better
exactly.
in
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
person.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't have to
Yeah.
define you.
Especially now he has his own child. Yeah. Do
Yeah.
better.
Yay. Bonus quote for. All
All
right.
right. So, worst family secret I accidentally found out when I moved out of the house. I got boxes of my childhood stuff from my mom. I was unpacking my new place and wanted to reminisce as one does. And while going through my baby things, asked why there was a newspaper article about some random murderer lady mixed in with my baby pictures.
What?
Turns out, my paternal great grandmother hired a hitman to kill her fourth husband. It was a major story in my hometown in the 80s. Great grandma and her husband had a bad relationship to the point where she had previously shot him during an argument. And she
Wow.
convinced her affair boyfriend, her daughter, my great aunt, and her daughter's boyfriend, who was also the brother of her boyfriend, talk about weird dating your daughter's boyfriend's brother, to hire a hitman. It took 2 tries on 2 different days, but I can't remember exactly why the first attempt failed. Either the shot missed entirely or wasn't fatal? Great grandmother and great aunt were both convicted of murder.
Oh,
Grandma, life in
wow.
prison, and accomplice aunt, I think 20 years. But grandma was ultimately released in the 90s because she was dying of a combination of cancers that made her quality of life inhumane. Newspaper's words. I was about a year old and we apparently spent Christmas together before she died. My great aunt and I were spitting images in her mugshot when I saw it as an adult. And she died over a decade ago from a lifelong struggle with drugs. My mom thought I might want to know about it one day, and she saved the articles. Since my dad wasn't around to ask, as you expect, I immediately decided to go and see some genealogy research on my own for months to see who these people were and if I could explain their actions. Learned that the crazy only started with a great grandmother whose first foray into the spotlight was a knife fight with our neighbor at 17, then making headlines in her small town for a divorce on Monday and wedding on Tuesday. Because my dad's
Wait, one more time. She divorced on Monday and married on Tuesday?
Yep, that's right.
Oh.
Because my dad's mother was 25 when he was born and his father was 16. Engaged to a different age appropriate girl and in jail for killing a cop. No idea what happened there, but he never served time. And then my own father wasn't exactly a table with four legs either. Luckily, all I got from that side was premature arthritis. Thank God.
This is
crazy.
a really cool story. I like it. Like, grandma's cool.
I'm really like, okay.
My grandma's so cool. She's a feisty woman. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of on the fence.
Yeah, well, good thing that the only thing you got was premature arthritis and none of that crazy.
This reminds me of one of my favorite movies. I don't know if you've seen it. The English title is Seven Husbands.
Never heard of it.
So it's a very famous Indian movie. It's called, don't quote me on this, but it's Seven and then Khon, Khoon, I think, Moth, M-A-F. They have like English subtitles and whatnot, but at first I didn't really get it, but then I loved it. So this woman, right? She is raised very religious. She loves her father, this and that, and then her father dies at a young age, and she's like, my goal in life, please God, give me a husband that will love me the way my dad did. And that's a story of her life. But with each husband, because I caught on after the second husband. If she's drinking wine, that means he's gonna die.
Really?
So if he cheats on me, he's dead. He beats me, he's dead. He steals from me, he's dead. As she goes through each thing in life. It's one of my favorite movies.
Okay, I need
Seven
to check it out.
Husbands, Seven Khon Moth.
I need to check it out.
It's so good. Anything else to add?
No, just be better.
Be better? Okay. I don't know. She's like kind of like a superhero slash villain. I can't decide yet.
I recently heard an article saying, be the person to end your family's curse.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so just do better.
Yeah, do better. Mentioned that you want me to talk about choosing a career. I think I'm gonna save for another episode into going into my career path because it's not really traditional, it's kind of weird. But what I will say is, you know, how to talk with your kids, I say like 16, between sophomore and junior year, just tell them to start brainstorming like what kinds of things you would want to do as a career and really think about it. If you need to Google stuff or whatnot, US News and World Report has a list of like, you know, the top 10 jobs right now and stuff. And you know, that's always changing and that's fine, but it is good to get an idea of what you would want to do because it's hard to figure out what you want at that age. But you also don't want to limit yourself. Like as I got older, I'm like, oh, there's all these other jobs that are great too that I never even knew about, never even thought about. So don't limit yourself, but try to go through, because you have to have a balance, right? Like you want to have a job that you like, but you also want to have a job that pays. So you kind of have to balance it. Like obviously hobbies and jobs don't always pay out the same unless you're really lucky. But trying to figure out what you want. And I encourage students to, at that, you know, high school level, to try to work or at minimum volunteer, but work at places that interest you. Like, don't just go work for McDonald's or work, I don't know, anywhere. Like, pick something cool. Like, you know, you can do an internship for a company that you like, that you're interested in, and then, you know, get a job from that and kind of say like, hey, is this what I want to do, or maybe a branch off into something else. You just never know. But don't pick a whatever job. Pick something cool, because you're young. You can experiment and figure out, you know, what you like, or figure out, oh, actually, you know what, I really don't like that. I want to try something else. That's the time to do it, because you ideally want to declare a major when you start college, because there's so many people that go in there as undecided, and college is so expensive. Like, you don't want to be doing 10 years for undergrad because you're just undecided, flipping this major, that major. Like, it's money completely wasted. So, and not just that, but I mean, a lot of people aren't going to college because they want, like, I mean, not there's anything wrong with that. Like, some people, like, if they want to do plumber or electrician, or one girl, she was saying she wants to go to beauty school to do hair and makeup and da-da-da. But I mean, like, you can still make a good living off of that, you know, if you market yourself in a smart way. So it all just depends on you, but that career thing needs to start earlier on. Don't wait till when you start college and waste all that money as undecided. So that's my advice to you. If you have any questions or want me to go in depth more, comment below. Thank you. Once again, I hope you guys can find time to put something fun down on the calendar this holiday season. But if not, that's okay too. That's why I have my movie magic segments, so you guys can have some fun even if you aren't able to get out. That's it for this episode. Thank you so much for all your love and support. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to always be kind to one another. Take care.